gardener here in San Antonio for nearly 15 years. What that means is that I read glossy gardening magazines in the checkout lane. I get a gazillion unsolicited seed catalogs, and I have a dog-eared copy of Neil Sperry's Texas Gardener in my bookcase. See, San Antonio has 270 growing days per season. Gets about 33 inches of rain a year. And generally, most of the things that you stick in the ground here in San Antonio will grow. That's what most of us as new consultants thought that growing our teams would be like. We looked at the compensation chart and we thought, wow, just 3 consultants and I'm moving on up. That's my Aunt Ginny, my cousin Susie, and that girl at the bank. I've got this thing in the bag. But despite the rain that you see today, first rain we've had in a long time, San Antonio has been going through what most people call a biblical drought recently. Gardening in San Antonio has taken a lot of effort. I would look outside and I would see the desperate drooping leaves and I would think, which plants should I try and save and which ones will I coddle? That not just crepe myrtle will probably reach about 50 feet and add hundreds to the value of my house. But that little lantana, it's $2.49 at Walmart, and there's even more where that came from. Do we find ourselves making the same decisions sometimes with our teams? In May and June, typically the slowest months in direct sales, do you find yourself looking at your garden and getting discouraged, trying to decide how best to ration your time and effort? It's really difficult to decide which plants to save, but they're all beautiful, and you love and you need them all. If you focus on your overall garden plan, then you really can grow them all. I've got a garden of 15 right now, most of which I planted in the growing season. Friends who saw my success in the holiday season, the January bring back my bar, and planting them was so easy. Launch parties, shooting stars, shiny new catalog, shiny new leaves just reaching for the sun. Some of my recruits are like that crepe myrtle, shooting up seemingly a foot every week. But others are like that lantana, small, delicate flowers that are just spreading wide and covering a large area. As different as they are, my garden needs this huge crepe myrtle, but it also needs that little lantana to shade the soil. Every plant serves its purpose, and every plant has its own unique needs. In the growing season, it was easy to be their cheerleader. Logging onto my workstation, I would see those numbers changing daily. I would see the orders pouring in, people calling with questions. It was easy to water them with just a simple high five and a promise of a huge commission check. But the dry season did come, and my plants faltered, they got discouraged, they threatened to give up. I knew the rains were not far away, but I had to get them through the dry season first. In order to survive the dry season, plants must have deep roots, encouragement. That could be a quick text or a phone call, a comment on a Facebook post, a note written while I was waiting at the doctor's office. Training, weekly watering with the all-consultant call, training videos, emails, monthly team meetings. They're not all going to need the same thing, though. That crepe myrtle might get a little wound by a canceled party or a recruit backing out, just like my real-life nachos did when the weed whacker got a little too close. But a little tape and a stake, and that tree was back to normal. My lantanas are so worry-free that I might even forget about them. But a little extra mulch around the bottoms and a fistful of Starbucks grounds will make a huge difference in the amount of bloom. Now, most gardeners will tell you not to fertilize in the dry season. Too much quick growth that's not strong enough, but the rains will come. New catalogs, convention, incentive trips, shiny new products. But when that happens, it's time to pour on the fertilizer. Take advantage of trainings. Use your email downline feature on your workstation to send out all the fabulous finds you have in the forum. Get them into direct sunlight to let that fertilizer work. Growing your Scentsy garden is so much like gardening in San Antonio. The soil's fertile, the rainfall is good, and sunlight is plentiful. As I said before, though, most anything you stick in the ground will grow. But just like my business, my Scentsy business will not only grow, but flourish with a little extra attention to my recruits' needs, a little extra care during the dry season, and lots of fertilizer courtesy of Scentsy's amazing training and incentives. With Scentsy and your hard work, your garden will become your own little piece of paradise.